Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to the Week 7 Pick Show. I'm your host, Jim Sella, live via Skype satellite with J Dash. I took a beating in the Pick Show last week, going 0-4-1, but that just means I'm going to go 4-0-1 this week. Believe it.
Well, let's hope so. I have many of the same picks as you this week, so I wouldn't mind that at all. Yeah, there's a lot of the same picks here this week, man. We all picked the same games pretty much.
So we're all going to have bad records after this week?
I mean, it's possible if it's anything like last week.
Brutal.
But we're going to start off with my game. I am 87, 78, and 2 in regular season picks all time. I went 2-2-1 last week. I'm 12-12-1 on the season. And I'm going with the London game, the New York Giants and Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are +3 in this game.
At first, I wanted to take the Rams in this game, and then I decided to go against what I would normally pick, considering my picks are garbage. And then you alerted me to the fact that this game's in London, so I have no idea what to go with now. So I'm just going to tell you straight up, I'm taking the Giants in this game. I don't think the Rams are a good enough football team to travel that far around the planet. Like, seriously, are they going to fly over Asia or are they going to fly over America? What's the fastest route to get to London for these guys? You know, at least the Giants are taking off on the East Coast and just have to cross the Atlantic. Seriously, the Rams might have to cross half the freaking globe to get to this to Twickenham Stadium or whatever the hell it's called over there in London. They're not a great football team. Case Keenum's not a great quarterback. I think the better quarterback wins in this matchup, and that's why I'm going to give it to the Rams and Eli Manning. And that's really the only theory I have behind this game.
To the Giants and Eli Manning.
Oh, yeah, sorry, to the Giants and Eli Manning. My bad.
Please believe. The Rams have had an odd season, man. They started off in San Francisco and got blown out 28-0. Then they went on a 3-game win streak, beat the Seahawks, at Tampa Bay, and at Arizona. So those are 3 big wins right there. But then they lost their last 2 games versus the Bills 30-19 and at Detroit last week 31-28, which gave us a push last week. But right now they aren't playing great football. And if you look, the New York Giants were on a 3-game losing streak, although playing very good competition. Then last week they went and played the Baltimore Ravens. Looked like they were going to lose a 4th straight, and Odell Beckham took that big one to the house to give them the win. So,
I don't even want to hear about that because I lost in fantasy to the kid who doesn't even set his lineup because of Odell Beckham.
Yeah, it's tough, man. What are you going to do
yes, dude. He was playing Keenan Allen, and
I know.
Still beat me.
I seen it, man. It sucks.
It's garbage.
But, yeah, so the Giants are coming off a big win. They're feeling a lot better than if they would have lost their last 4 games. So I see them coming out and carrying that over to this week, and I see the Rams carrying over what they've been doing as well, and that's 2 straight losses. So I'm going to say the New York Giants come out and win. Now, this isn't a big-time game or anything here in London. The Giants and the Rams, both of them are 3-3 at this point. But there are 2 big matchups, Odell Beckham Jr. and Todd Gurley, 2 of the best players in the NFL in this game.
Yeah, Gurley, I don't want to call him a disappointment because it's not his fault that every team is stacking the box against him, but I thought he would come out and have a bigger year than he has, but I think Case Keenum's struggles have really limited Gurley to what he could do. I'm interested to see what Eli and Odell Beckham are going to do because the Rams can get a pass rush on and they can get to Eli Manning, so if they get to him early, you know, and they get to Odell early, he's a crybaby. This is a guy who whines every time he gets in press coverage. They call wide receivers prima donnas. People wanted to say Chad Johnson was a crybaby. Are you kidding me? Odell Beckham, like, literally starts to cry on the field because things aren't going his way. Then he might end up going out and making some beast play to win the game and screw me in fantasy. But I don't know. If the Rams can get to them early, they might be able to knock them off their game, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Rams will have the offense, and Eli will find a way to get the job done.
Yeah, we are going spread sweep in this. Everybody is taking the New York Giants. Now, the over-under in this game is 43.5. Would you stay away from that?
Yeah, I don't like...
Especially in London.
Yeah, I don't like picking games in London, let alone over-unders in London. You never know.
Yeah, I think I already lost a pick of the week in a London game. Jacksonville, I picked to lose, I believe, and they ended up covering at least. I think they won that game. I can't remember.
Both teams probably had bangers and mash the night before the game, and then they all had the squirts during the football game.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go with the odd game here. The New Orleans at Kansas City. Kansas City's -6.5. This is no one's pick of the week, just the extra game. The over,
big line here.
Yeah, the over-under is 50.5 as well. I think that is something. I like that. I would go over on that.
Over?
Yeah, 50.5. Yeah, New Orleans, they can't stop anyone at home or on the road. They're not very good on the road. Kansas City can play well at home. So I see points being scored in this game, man.
Any for Jamal Charles?
Yeah, I like Jamal Charles this week. I like him and Spencer Ware both. Again, just like I did last week against the Oakland Raiders, and it worked out. Both of them had double digits in fantasy. Spencer Ware actually blew up. I see the same thing this week. New Orleans is going to have trouble stopping both Spencer Ware and Jamal Charles. I think the passing game can get it done out there. Although I am going to go spread solo here and go with New Orleans. I think New Orleans is going to put up a lot of points too. And I think Kansas City's going to win, and it could even be by 6 points. But 6.5 is a big line. The rest of you were going Kansas City, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no faith in New Orleans. They've really fallen off after their Super Bowl years. They have no defense. Even the offense, I mean, they're putting up points, but it looks so sporadic. There's not that calm, collective Drew Brees out there. Like, they're just kind of spastic in the way that they play. So I agree they can put up points, but I just don't think they can put up enough. And I think Kansas City, I think I read Justin Houston might actually be back for this football game, or at least he's practicing again. So that would be real big for Kansas City to be able to get to Drew Brees. And I think with the run game of the Kansas City Chiefs, they can try to slow down the Saints offense. And honestly, I think Kansas City will just try to keep New Orleans off the field a little bit, maybe not try to outscore them exactly, and then that's really going to hinder New Orleans in the way they play. So I think Kansas City can cover this line, although I've been wrong a lot, so you may just want to take New Orleans.
Well, here's the deal here. The Kansas City Chiefs are not playing close games at all. Every single game has been decided by 6 or more points, okay? Now, they won their last game. They don't have back-to-back wins yet this season, so there's something to look at. But the New Orleans Saints, in 4 of their 5 games, have been decided by 3 points or less. So they've been playing real tight games. And why I like the over in this game, look at this. Last week, 41-38 versus the Panthers. The week before, 35-34 at the Chargers. The week before, 45-32 versus the Falcons. Now, they did have a low-scoring game in Week 2 at the Giants, 16-13, but Week 1, 35-34 loss to the Oakland Raiders. So there's a ton of points being scored in New Orleans games. It's because their defense sucks and their offense is pretty good, and I expect the same thing to happen this week. So I'd go over. And like I said, New Orleans is playing tight games right now, so I'm going to stick with that. But on the other side of it, like I said, Kansas City is playing in all blowouts, so something's got to give this week.
KC all the way, baby.
Yeah, like I said, everyone else is going with you saying KC. I'm going to go spread solo and say New Orleans. Let's go with Easy's pick of the week next. He is 2-3 this season in picks of the week. He went 2-2-1 last week. He's kind of climbing back to 500 overall. He's 83, 88-3. He's actually 10-4-1 in his last 15 NFL picks, though. So he's picking very well right now. And he's actually taken the lead this season over the rest of us at 13-11-1 on the season.
Brutal. When Easy's winning, you know things are going wrong.
But he's going to go with Indianapolis at Tennessee. Tennessee's -2.5, and the over-under is 48 in this game.
Tennessee's a weird team to me this year. They keep getting these weird favorable lines, and I don't quite understand why. I don't think their offense is dominant. I don't think their defense is dominant. I know they got DeMarco Murray running the football pretty well right now, but I think Marcus Mariota has taken maybe not a step back from last year, but he hasn't exactly taken that step forward either. I know the Colts have been in complete disarray. Andrew Luck's getting hammered behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, it looks like me and you are blocking for Luck right now. They're just hanging that poor guy out to dry. And the Colts haven't been running the football very consistently. And until they start doing that, their passing game is going to struggle. But I think this could be the fixer game for the Colts. Indianapolis had pretty much owned Tennessee all through the Peyton Manning era and then early in the Andrew Luck era. So I think this is a game where the Colts can reel off a victory on the road, build a little confidence, maybe go back home in a week or two and then get blown out at home because they're garbage. But they're definitely good enough to beat Tennessee. And I think Andrew Luck has a big game this week and Marcus Mariota struggles a little bit. And I think the Colts pull this one out. I think either team's going to win by field goals. So if Tennessee wins, they're going to cover at the same time.
Yeah, if you look at it, Indianapolis's last 2 losses, it was actually by 3 points. Now they did start out 0-2, but they are 2-2 in their last 2 games, and like I said, their last 2 losses by 3 points. So they're either winning or losing by a tight margin. And if you look at the Tennessee Titans, man, they're actually better on the road than they are at home, and that has to do with Marcus Mariota. He hasn't been very good at home this season outside of last week, but it was the Cleveland Browns. They finally got their first win at home this season. And Cleveland's defense is terrible, so that's why Mariota had a good week. But they only won 28-26 versus Cleveland last week. Their other 2 home games, they lost 25-16 to the Vikings and 17-10 to the Raiders. So really, they're not playing great at home right now. I think Indianapolis not necessarily is a great team, but they're starting to turn it around. This division is completely wide open still. If Houston wouldn't have came back and beat Indianapolis last week, I think every team in this division would be 3-3 right now. So it's still wide open. Indianapolis knows that a win this week could put them right back in the middle of the division race. So they're going to go out there and just beat Tennessee, I would have to believe. And you're right, I don't like this line, but I said the same thing last week. Remember me saying I don't like that Oakland line versus Kansas City. Oakland was the underdog for some reason at home, and it turned out that there was a good reason for it.
Yeah, because Oakland's garbage.
Well, I think they're an underdog this week versus Jacksonville. So I guess everyone's over Oakland already.
Believe it.
We are going to spread sweep again, the second spread sweep already, and that is everybody on Indianapolis.
That means everybody should take Tennessee.
How about Johnny Parlay, man? He's 9-15-1 this season.
Falling off. He had a little bit of a slow start to last year, though, and then picked it up somewhere around here. Week 6, week 7.
Well, that's what he needs to do, man. He needs to get back on track. I'm actually on his tail for best record again. But he is going to go with the Baltimore at New York Jets game. Right now it's even. I actually seen it around the New York Jets -2, so it looks like the Jets would probably end up being the favorite if it doesn't end up even. The over-under is 41.5 here, and we got a spread split going on this one.
Did you see the Jets benched Ryan Fitzpatrick?
For good reason. He was playing terrible.
5 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, something like that this year.
Yeah, 17 points or less in each of their last 4 games, and 13 points or less in 3 of those. So they're not scoring points out there. They're 1-5 on the season, lost their last 4. Granted, it was at the Chiefs versus the Seahawks, at the Steelers, at the Cardinals. So you got to give them a little bit of a break there. But, I mean, you can't go forever with Fitzpatrick because he's supposed to be better at the beginning of the season rather than later in the season where he usually falls apart. And so you had to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they made the move. I just don't see it getting any better for the Jets. Geno Smith's complete garbage. Although the Jets look like geniuses for not giving Fitzpatrick that big money contract in the offseason. He only got 1 year, $12 million, and it doesn't look like he's going to get another year out there in New York. So it's going to be his 6th team, I believe, after the Jets let him go next year. So it's not looking good for him. As for this Jets-Ravens game, I also read Joe Flacco's shoulder is hurting. He didn't practice today, I don't think it was. So there's a shot that he might not play in this game. So it could be battle of the backup quarterbacks. I don't even know who the Ravens' backup is.
I don't know, but I did see John Harbaugh say he's optimistic that Joe Flacco will play. But really, both of these teams, man, we just talked about how the Jets were playing horrible. The Baltimore Ravens were 3-0. Now they're 3-3. They lost their last 3 games to the Raiders, 28-27, the Redskins, 16-10, and at the New York Giants, 27-23, when they had that game in hand and blew it there in the end with Odell Beckham Jr. I had to mention that again because you didn't want me to the first time. But like I said, we're going spread split here. You said you're going with the Ravens, correct? I'm going to go with the New York Jets, and Easy's going with me. Johnny Parlay's going with you, so I like that.
Yeah, me and Parlay got the Ravens, especially if Joe Flacco plays. I don't see how Geno Smith can beat Geno Smith. I have no faith in that guy. I mean, he was a complete waste of a second-round pick for the Jets. He was one of the biggest reaches in recent draft memory for me anyway. So I just got no faith in the guy. I'm pretty sure he has more interceptions than career touchdowns. He's just a complete piece of crap as far as a football player is concerned. So as long as he's their starting quarterback, I don't foresee them winning anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty much taking the Jets here because they're at home. I really don't care for either one of these teams right now, but just the fact that the Jets are home, and we remember last week an AFC North team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, going on the road to an AFC East team, the Miami Dolphins, a team they should beat. They got beat by them. I think the Ravens are going to do the same thing this week. An AFC North team going on the road to an AFC East team, and I think the Jets are just going to pull out a win.
I don't know. I guess Geno could win one game in his career, but I don't think it's going to be this week.
Hey, I mean, Joe Flacco doesn't look good at all this season either to me. I mean, I think he's had 2 good games.
Outside of that playoff run he had when they won the Super Bowl, he's never played well. He's garbage too.
That's what I'm saying, man. Geno Smith all day.
What
Now,
other game we got?
it is your pick of the week, and this is the last game we're going to talk about. This game I didn't like. I didn't like you picking this game because I really have no clue which way this one's going to go. Seattle at Arizona. Arizona's -1.5, and the over-under is 43.5 in this game. I am going to go with you, though, and we are all going to go with you. Another spread sweep, and we're all going Seattle. Why are you going Seattle, though? I picked Seattle. I just think they're a little bit better. I was thinking of Eddie B saying Arizona's not the same type of team this year. Carson Palmer did play somewhat well last week versus the New York Jets, but like you just mentioned,
came out of the game late, and Drew Stanton finished the game for him. So I don't know if Palmer's 100% healthy.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not 100% healthy. I mean, you had to figure that. Last week was his first game back, but I mean, he looked all right. They went out there and handled the New York Jets pretty well. But like you just mentioned, the New York Jets have been playing like crap. So I was just thinking, Eddie B saying Arizona's not that great. Seattle, they're at the top of the division right now. They only have 1 loss on the season. I think they can go into Arizona and win this game.
We said it at the beginning of the year, or at least I asked the question, has Arizona peaked? You said it was all up to Carson Palmer. He's a little banged up right now. He isn't playing at an elite level either when he's healthy. He's not playing poorly, but he's not playing at that same level he was last year. I think Russell Wilson's, he just keeps getting healthier now after the bye week 2 weeks ago, and then they handled Atlanta last week. I think their running game's going to get going. Seattle.
I don't know if they handled Atlanta, did they?
They won.
They won.
That's all that matters.
They won. I don't know if they handled them.
I mean, right now
it wasn't like Miami
well,
handling the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They kept that high scoring Falcons offense to 24 points. That's a pretty good feat for this season, at least anyway. Seattle's a veteran team. I think they're going to keep playing better as the stretch run goes on, as the playoffs get closer. They understand what all this means. I don't know. Something about Palmer, man. He's played well in his career, but he's just never going to quite get there. So I'm taking Seattle.
Well, you are 6-4 in your last 10 picks of the week.
Ballin'.
So you need that W.
Need it, love it, want it.
Jim, Easy, and me are all 2-3 on the season in picks of the week. Johnny Parlay, man, 0-4-1.
0-4-1 on his picks of the week.
Yes.
Brutal. I'm going to have to let him know that, even though he probably already does, but I'll rub it in his face anyway.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, what we have here, everybody's going Indy. Everybody's going the New York Giants. Everybody's going Seattle. I'm going spread solo with the New Orleans Saints. Everybody else going Kansas City. And then we got a spread split on the Jets in Baltimore.
Me and who agrees on Baltimore? Me and Easy, or me and Parlay?
You and Parlay.
All right, so me and Parlay are going 5-0.
Well, if one of you do, the other one definitely will.
Believe that. This is the week he turns it around, so it's the week I turn it around. I'm going to start piggybacking his picks again.
I'm going to piggyback Easy's picks. No, actually,
he's killing it.
We're all pretty close here. He's 13-11-1. I'm 12-12-1. You're 11-13-1. And then Johnny Parlay trailing in last at 9-15-1.
He just wants to make us feel better about ourselves, I think, because he blew us all out of the water last year.
That he did. I mean, you still look over his last 99 picks, including this 9-15-1. He's still 58-40-1.
Ballin'. Dude's money.
Yep. Wrap it up.
Anything else? That's all?
That's it.
Better wrap up that gavel, B. This is The Spread. Hit us up on Twitter, bet_the spread. Hit me up on Twitter at BetJimTheWin. Keep coming back to that Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Everybody knows where to find us on YouTube, so keep coming back there. Hopefully we do a little better for you this week. Hopefully we make you some money. And if not, just follow the trend and pick against us.